I was sitting alone at my kitchen table when my phone buzzed. I didn't rush to answer it. At my age, nothing good ever comes from urgency. But when I saw my son's name on the screen, my heart still tightened the way it always had. "Hello, Mark," I said softly. There was no greeting on his end, no "How are you, Mom?" no warmth. Instead, his voice was sharp and impatient. "Mom, I don't have time for this. I need you to sign some documents. I'll send them to you today." "What documents?" I asked. "They're about the house and Dad's old investments. It's just paperwork. You don't really understand this stuff anyway." That sentence landed heavier than he realized. I am Eleanor Whitman. I'm 72 years old. I raised my son alone after his father died. I worked 2 jobs for most of my life. And yet, in my own child's eyes, I had somehow become useless. "I'd like to read them first," I said calmly. There was a short, irritated laugh on the other end. "Mom, be realistic. You don't know how these things work. I'm handling everything. You should be grateful." Grateful. That word echoed in my mind long after the call ended. The child I raised. Mark wasn't always like this. When he was little, he used to wait by the window every evening for me to come home from work. He'd run to the door, arms open, yelling, "Mom's home!" I taught him to read. I helped with his homework late into the night. I skipped meals so he could have new shoes for school. After his father died in a factory accident, Mark was only 9. That night, he asked me something I'll never forget. "Mom, are we going to be okay?" I held him close and whispered, "As long as we have each other, yes." Somewhere along the way, he forgot that promise. The greed began. It started after I retired. Mark suddenly became very interested in my finances. "How much is the house worth now? Did Dad leave anything else? You should really put things in my name, Mom. It'll be easier." Easier for whom? Then came the pressure. "You're getting older. What if something happens to you?" "I'm just trying to protect you." Protection that always seemed to benefit him, never me. One afternoon, he showed up unannounced with a folder. "Just sign here and here," he said, sliding the papers across the table. I adjusted my glasses. "What is this?" "A power of attorney. Standard stuff, in case of emergencies." I hesitated. Mark sighed loudly. "Mom, don't make this difficult. Do you trust me or not?" That question hurt more than anything. So I signed. That was my mistake. The day he took everything. 2 months later, I came home from the grocery store to find a real estate sign in my front yard, "For sale." I stood there, staring, my hands trembling. I called Mark immediately. "Oh, that?" he said casually. "Yeah, I sold the house." "You what?" "Relax, you can live with me. The house was just sitting there, wasting value." "That's my home," I whispered. "It's an asset, Mom, and I needed the capital." Needed it for what? A new car, a failed business idea, a lifestyle he couldn't afford. Within weeks, my house was gone, my savings were reallocated, my voice no longer mattered, and I was moved into his guest room like an old piece of furniture. And then one night, after a small argument about groceries, he said the words that broke me. "You should be thankful I even let you stay here." That night, I didn't cry. I did something far more dangerous. I remembered. The secret my husband left me. My late husband, Thomas, was a quiet man. He never spoke about money, never showed off. But 3 days before he died, he gave me a small wooden box. "Eleanor," he said gently, "promise me you won't open this until you absolutely need to." I had forgotten all about it, until that night. I waited until Mark was asleep, then I retrieved the box from the old suitcase I had brought with me. Inside were deeds,
bank statements, company documents, and a handwritten letter. My hands shook as I read. My love, if you are reading this, it means I am gone, and you may need protection. Everything I built quietly is now yours. Trust yourself, and remember, intelligence does not shout. Thomas wasn't just a mechanic like everyone thought. He had invested wisely for decades. The house Mark sold, it wasn't legally his to sell. The accounts he drained, only a fraction of what existed. The biggest asset? A private holding company, fully in my name. I wasn't poor. I was invisible, and I decided to stay that way. Letting him fall. I didn't confront Mark. Instead, I watched. I let him believe he had won. I let him spend. I let him boast. I let him dig his own hole. Then, quietly, I made a phone call to a lawyer Thomas trusted. "Can I get everything back?" I asked. "Yes," he said, "and legally. But not yet, not all at once." Over the next few weeks, the house sale was nullified, accounts were frozen, ownership records were corrected. Mark didn't notice until the letters started arriving. At first, he thought it was a mistake. Then panic set in. One evening, he stormed into the room. "Mom, did you know the house sale was reversed?" "Yes," I said calmly. "Did you know the bank froze the accounts?" "Yes." His face drained of color. "How?" I stood up slowly. "Because you stole from me." The silence was unbearable. "You think I didn't know what you were doing?" I continued. "You thought I was weak because I was quiet." His voice cracked. "You planned this?" "No," I said. "You did." The lesson. Mark lost everything he took from me, but I didn't throw him out. I gave him something far worse. Responsibility. He had to work again, pay debts, start from zero. For the first time in his life, no one saved him. Months passed. He changed, slowly, painfully. One night he knocked on my door. "I was wrong," he said quietly. "Not just about the money, about you." I looked at him. "You confused silence with stupidity, and love with weakness." Tears streamed down his face. "I don't deserve forgiveness." "No," I replied, "but you can earn respect." The ending he never expected. I didn't disinherit my son. I re-educated him. Today, I live in my restored home, Mark lives independently, and our relationship is built on honesty, not entitlement. The greatest inheritance I left him wasn't money, it was a lesson. Never underestimate the one who raised you. If this story moved you, tell me, have you ever been underestimated by someone you trusted? Write your city in the comments. Your story might be the next one I tell. With love and respect.